Are you looking for the best mechanical keyboards? In this video, we will look at some of the 5 best keyboards on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Havit KB393L. Mechanical keyboards are often expensive, but there are some decent low-cost options available. The Havit mechanical keyboard and mouse combo fit the bill nicely. For the price point, you're getting a decent mechanical keyboard and a fairly good mouse. There are some compromises, of course. The keyboard has a decent amount of travel with a nice clicky sound, but the unbranded switches don't have the same positive feel as their more expensive cousins. You get the sound, but not the same distinct feel as you press a key. In other words, you don't feel it when the key hits the bottom as you do with many other keyboards. Each individual key has its own LED light, and the Havit software, Windows only, provides a good range of lighting schemes and fancy effects. There are effects like flash_away, where the key you press lights up, followed by a flash that travels along the row of keys. The fancy lighting schemes are cool, but the lights aren't as bright as more expensive models. Additionally, the Havit's construction feels less robust than the other keyboards in this guide. The baseplate, right below the keyboard, is made of metal, but the rest of the keyboard is plastic, including a wrist plate that's very bendy and not particularly comfortable. For the price, though, it's a solid keyboard that feels more comfortable than a laptop keyboard or the sort of cheap, non-mechanical keyboards included with many desktop PCs. Number 2. SteelSeries Apex Pro. Even though the SteelSeries Apex Pro is a full-sized keyboard with a number pad, it doesn't take up too much room on the desktop. The build quality is top class, with a matte black aluminum board and an incredibly comfortable, soft-touch wrist rest that connects to the keyboard magnetically. There's a small OLED at the top right, along with a clickable roller and a large key that serve as dedicated media controls. You can make the OLED display your gamer tag or even a GIF animation, but it also offers some welcome feedback on your chosen settings and profiles, so you don't need to tab out of your game to tweak things. The headline feature here comes courtesy of the Apex Pro's OmniPoint switches. Not only does SteelSeries claim that they're much more responsive and durable than conventional mechanical keyboard switches, but they also offer customizable actuation. This means you can configure your preferred sensitivity level, dictating whether you'd like the lightest of touches to register or a deeper press for each individual key. It doesn't change the feel of typing on the keyboard, which is excellent by the way, but it does change when the key press registers. Take the time to set up different profiles for work and play, and even for individual games, and you will feel the benefit. I found accurate typing a breeze on this keyboard, and it's relatively quiet for a mechanical board. The SteelSeries Apex Pro features bright RGB lighting, which is also fully configurable on a per-key basis. The SteelSeries Engine 3 software is fairly easy to understand. You can set main and meta key bindings, use a macro editor, tweak the actuation, set up lighting effects and colors, and even load a custom image or GIF for the OLED screen. There's room for 5 onboard profiles. With cable routing left, middle, or right, and a pass-through USB with its own lit-up port on the left, the SteelSeries Apex Pro embodies thoughtful design. Gaming in general, typing on this keyboard is an absolute pleasure and nothing offers deeper customization, but the price makes it a serious investment. Number 3. Logitech MX Mechanical. The Logitech MX Mechanical keyboard is like a supercharged version of its productivity-focused MX Keys counterpart. Outfitted with mechanical switches, typing with this keyboard not only feels more responsive, but it's also better suited for anyone who uses the same computer for work to occasionally play games and doesn't need anti-ghosting, a high polling rate, or other features that usually come with gaming keyboards. However, the MX Mechanical comes in 3 switch options: clicky, linear, and tactile. These are not hot-swappable like the Newfie Halo 96, but that's not a major disadvantage considering this is first and foremost an office keyboard. It's also compatible with every type of computing device: Windows, Apple, macOS, iOS, iPadOS, Linux, Chrome OS, and Android, but the accompanying software only works with Windows and Mac. Battery life is decent for a wireless keyboard, too. We managed 8 to 9 days of mixed use, office work and gaming, with the backlight on before needing to recharge. According to Logitech, If you don't use the backlight, the MX Mechanical's battery can last for up to 10 months, but if you need a backlight, this keyboard has an ambient light sensor, which automatically changes the backlight brightness based on how much light there is in the room. Number 4. Kinesis Freestyle Pro. The Kinesis Freestyle Pro is an unusual keyboard because it's split into two parts, which are connected via a cable. One half holds the left side of the keyboard, from Q to T on the top row of letters, while the other holds the rest, Y to P and other keys. This setup works surprisingly well because it allows you to tilt the two parts, which puts your wrists at a more natural angle. The optional VIP3 accessory kit further enhances this with a wrist rest and supports the angle of the keyboard to form a tent shape. Again, this can be a big plus if you have RSI, repetitive strain injury, or wrist issues, as it allows you to vary the angle by moving the stands to different positions quickly and easily. The Freestyle Pro is fitted with Cherry MX Brown keys, which have a nice positive feel and a clicky sound when you press them, but with less noise than the blue switches. The keyboard also allows you to record macros using the free SmartSet software, which can be assigned to any key. You can have up to 100 of them accessed with a combination of Shift, Control, and other keys. Speaking of which, this keyboard is compatible with both Mac and PC. It's also the only one in this roundup that includes swappable Windows and Mac keytops. If you are someone that suffers from RSI, or don't want to be someone who does, the Kinesis is worth the extra cost, as it's the most adjustable and configurable keyboard we looked at by a considerable margin. Number 5. HyperX Alloy Origins. The HyperX Alloy Origins is a mid-priced mechanical keyboard that has lights to spare. The entire thing is illuminated by bright LEDs. Whether that's a good or bad thing depends on your personal preference, but the lights are very controllable. The HyperX Ingenuity software, available for Windows 10 only, allows you to control the color, pattern, and brightness of the lights right down to each individual key. There are also a number of cool lighting effects like the explosion, press a key and a wave of red flame spreads through the keyboard. The fade effect is rather fun, too. Each key you press lights up, then slowly fades out in your chosen color. The HyperX switches have a soft, slightly squishy feel that would work well for gaming. It takes little force to press a key, so you can hammer away at the fire button for as long as you want without straining anything. The keys are well spaced and have a slight indent, so it's easy to find a key by touch. The thin base of the keyboard is made of aluminum, so it should stand up to heavy use. It's also the only keyboard we've seen that uses a USB-C connection. A USB-C to USB-A cable is included, so it can still be used with an older computer, but it's good to see a keyboard manufacturer moving with the times. There are no extra USB ports, though, which means you can't plug a thumb drive or flash card reader into the keyboard. The Ingenuity software allows you to disable individual keys, which is useful if you keep hitting the wrong key dropping out of a game mid-firefight. Every key can also be reassigned to another key, and these are saved to the keyboard itself, so the reassignment will survive when you change computers. Any key can also be set to trigger a macro or mouse function, which is useful if you work in a program like Premiere, as it makes use of combination key and mouse commands.